Greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. The rain is pouring like proper cats and dogs. It's like a katushka, a meteorological katushka, like emptying onto the base that is my city. And the magpie is casting. That's right, magpie's the name, casting's the game, keeping the intro not quite the same. Coming at you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle, featuring spawning in the west. It's going to be the Soviet forces of coL Helpinghans, who's pretty high up there somewhere on the ladder, I believe. He's one of the top Soviet players for Shao, I'm pretty sure. Didn't actually check, but he's a very prominent player in the community, and it's safe to say that he's at the top. He's in the top levels of play. And spawning in the west, it's going to be the Wehrmacht forces of sr4czka, which is super hard to pronounce, so I might just call him Kuzka. We'll see how that goes. The map is going to be Kolodny Farm. This is the summary version of the map, so obviously it's not covered in snow. This is a map which has been in the game for an incredibly long time. If I just crack the tack, there we go, you can have a look at the map in all of its glory there, and indeed the initial unit positioning and choices for the two players. Yeah, let's get settled on into this. Now, let's have a look at the Soviet base, because this usually tells us how the game's going to go in the early stages. Of course, Soviet is one of those factions which does have some choices in the early game. Looks like Tech 2 has been the choice, and to that end, we see a Maxim machine gun entering the field for the Soviet player, so probably going to favour a slightly more defensive stance, though having said that, the units in the Tier 2 building do lend themselves to a pretty hearty assault, if that's the way you choose to use them and coordinate them, but they're just less aggressive than the Scout Car Sniper and Penal Legion, or Penal Troops even, provided by the Tier 1 Special Rifle building. The Axis player has gone for 3 of Grenadiers, so pretty standard stuff there. Not mixing in an MG42 at this point, but let's see what he goes for when he gets 240 munitions. Although, actually, I believe, isn't the MG42 now 260 or something? Yep, 260. So let's see if an MG42 is going to be the next choice, or if he's going to go all the way up to 4 of Grenadiers. Looks like as soon as I say it, lo, it becomes true. So yeah, he's going for the 4 Grenadier opening. Again, this is reasonably standard and a little bit boring, in my opinion. I think that they should. I think Grenadiers are in a good place right now, and I think if you nerf Grenadiers, then the Wehrmacht faction will suffer badly. Because I actually don't think Grenadiers are even that good. I think they're just about passable. But I do think that they need to improve some of the other choices available to the Wehrmacht forces. Because I just think that like too many games are too Grenadier focused, and you'll have to excuse me. This is me just sort of branching off into my own personal thoughts about the balance of the game, rather than commenting so much on the game as it unfolds before us. But I do think that Wehrmacht needs more diversity in its early game openings. Like, unless you're going for some Ostrapan madness and skipping the infantry company, pretty much every single Wehrmacht opening involves going for a infantry company and then spamming a load of Grenadiers, and the only question mark is, do they mix in an MG42 or a sniper? Like, occasionally you'll see one of those, but like, I don't know, it just seems to be a little bit stale. If Relic don't think it's a problem, then, you know, then I'm happy to go with that. I mean, I don't think it's a super big problem. And clearly the game is functioning quite well, you know, in its present state. So it's just a personal observation. I just think that Wehrmacht has, like, relatively few openers available to it. I just think it's a little stale in terms of openings for Wehrmacht. Anyway, we've gone up to, so there's 2 Maxims on the field, 1 up in the north capping, 1 in mid, with a very awkward arc, although he knows there's some Grenadiers over here, so actually Helpinghans doing things just right there. And 2 of conscripts as well, joining those Maxims, going to be backing them up, and let's just take a look at the Soviet HQ here and see if we've got any upgrades. So we've got the medics. Wow, that's a very early medic timing. Fair enough. Helpinghans there, clearly valuing the ability to heal units that fall back quite highly, and I think that's fair enough. With Soviet units, I find, because a lot of them are 6-man, it's very possible to have sort of a 5 or 6-man unit where all of those models have taken a lot of damage and the actual total health of the unit is way below 50%. And falling them back wouldn't help unless you have those medics, because, you know, obviously they're not going to get healed, you'll just be able to reinforce, and if they've only lost 1 or even no squad members, then falling them back won't do you any good. So anyway, I can hear a Maxim checking, and here we have it. So these Grenadiers have been totally hosed by this Maxim. They'll be forced to fall back, of course. They are just chipping in a little bit of damage, a few of them firing from behind this destroyed Stug. In the green cover, of course, that's going to prevent them from getting pinned for some time. And actually, I see, they're staying in position for a very good reason. Kuzka here is going to be bringing up a Flamethrower Pioneer squad. That's going to divert the fire of the HMG in the building, allowing these Grenadiers to resume normal firing. And at this range, they could actually get some decent damage in. So we'll have to see how he manages manages that situation, Helpinghans. Meanwhile, we've got another scuffle up here in the north. 2 squads of Grenadiers. Unfortunately, I was late coming up here because there was some action to cover elsewhere. A squad wipe comes down on a Grenadier squad for CoH2. And we've got a Maxim and a Flamer here in a really good position. Grenadiers in a building. There is another Grenadier squad here, but no, wait, no, those conscripts are falling back. So saving that squad. Let's see what happens back in mid. Looks like still prioritizing firing at this Flamer, and that has to be the right decision. Although, yeah, now he's going to give some suppression back to these Grenadiers to keep the damage low. And this MG might want some help. Nope, it seems like CoH2 is going to call time on that operation there. Fall everybody back. I mean, to be fair, like, how much damage? He was able to trade, like, a minimal amount of damage on those squads, so yeah, kind of pointless to stay any longer. Now, there's another Grenadier squad pretty wounded falling back here, and looks like Helpinghans tried to focus fire on them, but was unable to secure a squad wipe. Now, let's just check at the Axis base. Is there a healing bunker? There is a bunker. The healing upgrade is just now coming up. That should be just in time, I would have thought, maybe, just because this 2-man squad is why I checked. See how low this squad is. So he's going to need to be able to heal that squad, and I reckon, yeah, this upgrade will finish just in the nick of time to make that an efficient operation for him. Let's crack the tack and get an overview. So the Soviet player pretty much holding most of the points in the north of the map. Going to be holding 2 of the victory points, so that's a good thing. This Maxim has come away from center though. Capping this point's all good and well, but with no machine gun in this building, that does leave a window of opportunity here for the Axis player to make a move. Now, CoH2 did lose a squad of Grenadiers earlier. He's had to replace that, but on top of that, he's stacking quite a lot of manpower here. Like, that's an unusual amount of manpower to be stacking. So, I guess it's just inefficient. Let me just check his base. He's got a lot of units here idle as well. These units are healed. They can go and fight. There we go. So, has he gone to battle phase 2? No. He hasn't gone to battle phase 1. Ooh. Oh, I see. He hasn't gone to battle phase 1. Wow, CoH2, this is super late now. What the? Unless he's going to pick Mech Assault and try and make a go of it. Yeah, there we go. As I say it, he picks Mech Assault. So it looks like teching up is not going to be a part of the plan for CoH2 here. He's going to try and make do with MGs, mortars, snipers and grenadiers, and of course pioneers, and of course these assault grenadiers. Those are going to be the options he has available to him, although I'd be amazed to see him deploy any assault grenadiers. He may do, just because he's got a lot of manpower, and he can deploy one whilst building grenadiers at the same time. But yeah, those are going to be the tools he has moving forwards, and I believe, but the fact that he has not escalated to battle phase 1 tells me he's going to try and just stick with that, and use the Stugs, and then get into the Tiger in the late game. I think it's super risky not to at least research Battle Phase 1 though. Yeah, it's 40 fuel and 100 manpower, but that's what gives you the LMG-42 and Panzerfaust upgrades. Without that Battle Phase 1, the Wehrmacht infantry do not have access to the anti-tank weapon and the LMG upgrade, so I think leaving Battle Phase 1 may be just a little too greedy for CoH2, but I don't know. I mean, this isn't a style that I ever play, so my judgment on this is going to be miles off the mark, and we'll have to watch CoH2 here and see what happens. Now, the Soviet player has units right where they need to be, actually. He's responding very well to the deployments of the Axis player. You'll note in the north on the minimap, no Axis units, and so no Soviet units defending. He holds the victory point and the main resource points up in the north of the map, so he's happy not pushing. I mean, he could grab one more resource point, but, you know, probably not worth a squad at this point, so I agree with Helpinghans' judgment. Down in the south here, he's got a Flamer squad backed up by a Maxim, nice combined arms, whilst the conscript squad comes around here and is going to grab his opponent's fuel points. So CoH2 feeling it a little bit here. He's under the gun. Now, there's going to be a call in here. Oh, of course, I forgot this. The Mech Assault group also allows you to call in a 250 half-track filled with Panzer Grenadiers. And that's going to come in here and cause a mass fallback on a lot of Soviet units. Nearly a squad wipe on some conscripts, but not quite. And that's actually going to buy CoH2 a little bit of space. He's finally going to take this point in mid. And, you know, we've just passed the 9-minute mark. He's trailing by nearly 150 tickets, 143 at the present moment, now 147. Sorry, 6. And that's serious news. So he needs to get something done about that. So yeah, these Grenadiers are going to provide a momentum swing at possibly just the right time, but the half-track with damage, they're going to be forced back. In the south of the map, these conscripts who are annoyingly capping this fuel point, they're going to engage these Grenadiers. Now, it looks like the Grenadiers should take that fight. They're just going to switch to some heavy cover just to make the fight a little more efficient. Not sure if I'd have bothered with that myself, because they're taking fire all the way across the open, so I think all of the damage reduction you get from being in a heavy cover, you've probably lost by moving across the open. But anyway, they're going to take this fight and probably re-secure that fuel point. No more Soviet units in the south of the map. map, so an opportunity there for CoH2 to make something happen, maybe catch up some ground, maybe grab a few more points and get that victory point. But having said that, a lot of units falling back right now for the Axis player. Here they are, and not so many units coming forward. So he's got a Grenadier squad in a good defensive position. Maxim gets set up nicely though. This Grenadier squad here probably wants to come and get some rifle grenades in. Wow, you don't get rifle grenades? Oh, in which case I was mistaken. So you do get Panzerfausts, but you do not get rifle grenades without Battle Phase 1. So what I was saying earlier was actually inaccurate. So the LMG-42 upgrade and the rifle grenade are dependent on Battle Phase 1. And I'm super amazed. I'm super amazed that CoH2... There we go, now he's getting escalate to Battle Phase 1. And I'm guessing maybe he just forgot about it, because it seems like a weird thing to do to change your mind. Maybe he just forgot, and then seeing these Maxims, he's like, yeah, I need a rifle grenade, and then couldn't use it, so... I don't know, like, or maybe he was waiting until the last second just to try and not have to spend that 40 fuel and 100 manpower to be as efficient as possible. But like I was saying earlier, I think that's very greedy, and I think rifle grenades and LMG-42 upgrades are just really good. So I would never try to play without them. But like I say, I'm not quite on CoH2's level, so my judgment may well be off on this. Anyway, a nice fight being taken here right now for the Russian player. A lot of pressure being applied. He's pushing very far forward actually, and we're very nearly at the stage where there's a contain built around the Axis player's base. So CoH2's going to have to do what he can to displace this. Here comes the 250 half track. This time it's been loaded up with Pioneers with a flamer in, giving the Soviets a taste of their own medicine there. The old clown car flamer combo being returned there. But here comes a T-70 light tank. That of course means the tank of the battalion command has been constructed in the Soviet player's base, and a T-70 is the choice. And again, this is going to play very well, I think, as long as he keeps it away from Grenadiers. There's no other answers here. He gets another squad wipe on another Grenadier squad, and this game looks like it could close quickly, actually. Helpinghans is really heaping the pressure on, and as I say, there's no answer for this T-70. The Axis player can't even buy a pack gun, so it's pretty much all on these Panzer Grenadiers. Now the Panzerschreck upgrade comes down, but awkwardly spraying one Panzerschreck round across at these conscripts. Only one gets fired at the T-70. That's a miss anyway. So these Panzer Grenadiers are now very wounded. They're going to be forced back, and this is the only AT right now for CoH2. Now he can call in another mechanized assault group. He has 120 munitions, so he could upgrade those additional Panzer Grenadiers with Panzerschrecks, and I think he has to do that. Yeah, okay, he's going to do it straight away, and I think this is the right call. I think this is absolutely the right call. He needs to be upgrading that squad. Yep, the squad is upgrading right now. He also needs to not lose the squad to the T-70. That would be risky, and in fact, you know what, I even think just revealing the squad to the T-70 is a little bit suspect, but whatever. You know, I think if that was me, I would have probably just rallied that half track to like here, waited for the upgrade to be nearly finished, and then moved it out. But yeah. But then again, I'm not having to micromanage like a whole load of other squads right now. I'm in God commentator mode. So anyway, little push being made up here in the north. These Grenadiers are sadly idle, and they could be grabbing a victory point. He's down to 200 points at the 13-minute mark, and a Molotov in a terrible location. He's clearly paying most of his attention to trying to kill this T-70. Oh my God, one of the Panzerschrecks is down. A squad wipe on one of the squads of Panzer Grenadiers, looking turbo bad. This squad in mid getting wiped out to one man, and getting wiped. So CoH2 here is having a real bad day. This is not going very well. These guys are getting flamed. He's terribly suppressed. There's going to be a number of squad wipes, and I think now we're just waiting for CoH2 to leave the game. There is no way. There is no way. All Hans has to do is drive this T-70 into his opponent's base, and that's pretty much a win. Oh no, the conscripts and engineers are going to grab all of these Panzerschrecks as well. So there's no anti-tank on the field, there's no anti-tank forthcoming, there's no real way that anti-tank can be forthcoming, and for these reasons, CoH2 is going to leave the game. Wow! Helpinghans demolishing his foe there. CoH2 going for an awkward and greedy mechanized assault doctrine build, and I really don't think I just don't think it paid off. I think if he'd have gone for Battle Phase 1 earlier, things would have been totally different, because when the fight was in this position and the two Maxim guns were here with some Grenadiers sort of moving out like this, a couple of rifle grenades there would have made that a much harder proposition for any Soviet player. Also, having LMG-42s would really have helped like hosing down these squads, and indeed just the general infantry of the Soviet player in general. So that can't be ignored either. But damn, rough game for CoH2 there. I mean, I totally, this mechanized assault doctrine sort of kookiness is like a thing that a lot of Wehrmacht players do, and I think, you know, it's definitely good. I've seen it be very good. I think if you're good at it, then it's a valuable tool to have. I think it's a good thing to learn. But in this circumstance, I mean, he picked it late, and it just didn't seem to me like he was really on point with the build. So I don't know, maybe just a bad day for Kuzka. Maybe it's something new that he's just trying to figure out and practice with. Maybe Helpinghans is just some kind of utter monster. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, or most likely a combination of all those factors, actually. So yeah, anyway, congratulations to Helpinghans on a fantastic win there. That was another very short game. Wow, I thought that I was hoping that one would be, you know, like a bit longer, but Helpinghans closes it out, and I will be jumping back into the live games lobby to try and find another one because that one was pretty short. So for now, this is Magpie842 signing out.